And we are kissing this chapter in LA goodbye.
Excuse me, I'm talking to you. Hey.
Hey boos, welcome to Sips and Tips, the show where we make a little something to sip on before we get into the tips and advice of it all. Welcome to episode 7. I'm really excited. I've been consistent for 8 weeks straight now. 2 months. You guys are probably sick of me giving myself a pat on the back about this every episode, but seriously, it's a big deal because I've never been consistent on here. So I'm just glad that we're keeping it going. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am coming to you very low energy today. We're gonna get into that a little bit later in the video. I'm exhausted. But we're not skipping a week unless we absolutely have to. So we're here. Let's get into the sip for today. This is actually probably gonna be the quickest, simplest sip we're gonna make on the show, to be honest with you. I just wanted to do something really quick and easy, but also something very beneficial in my opinion. So we are gonna talk about liquid chlorophyll. Now this is not sponsored, you know me. If anything's ever sponsored, I will let you know. This is the Nature's Way Chlorofresh. I get this from Amazon. This might be my last serving. I need to order some more. If you haven't heard of liquid chlorophyll or don't know what it is, don't know the benefits, I would highly, highly recommend that you do your research and check it out. I first tried liquid chlorophyll some years ago, maybe like 2018, 2019. I also made a TikTok about this as well, so I'll link that if you want a little bit more in depth about my experience with it. But I just love this for a detox and kind of an internal deodorizer. I swear if I take this at least once or twice a week, I don't smell like anything. I'm telling you, I'll go to the gym, nothing. It's amazing. Also for my ladies, great for pH balance and keeping everything in order, in check. We are gonna make just some liquid chlorophyll water. Honestly, for this specific type of liquid chlorophyll, the recommendation is you can take up to 2 tablespoons daily. I just do 1. I feel like that's enough for me to see a difference, but I would say 1 to 2 tablespoons depending on what you prefer and what you're comfortable with. You can also just take the tablespoon, just simply, but I like to mix it with water because it's not a super strong flavor. It honestly just tastes like mint, like a herbal mint kind of a flavor. But I just prefer to mix it with some water. And then I just have some regular room temperature bottled water. And you can dilute it as much or as little as you'd like. I like to just kind of do a full cup like this. It looks kind of crazy, but I promise you it literally just tastes like water with a hint of mint and a hint of herbs or something. You can also just put some ice in this. I'm probably gonna put some ice in just to cool it down and make it even more refreshing. But like I said, definitely check out the benefits of liquid chlorophyll. I've definitely seen major changes and it's definitely been a part of my kind of health and well-being routine over the last probably close to a year or so. Now that we have our sip, let's go ahead and head over to the couch and get into today's tips and conversation. Today's topic, I kind of went back and forth with because for one, I don't know, it was another week where I was having a hard time feeling inspired to talk about something. Then for 2, when this idea kind of ran across my mind, I was like, do I feel like talking about this now? Or maybe I should wait until I actually weather the storm. But I was like, no, I think I should talk about this now because I think it's important for me to not only reiterate to myself, but just to also share for anybody else who might need to hear this right now too. So I want to talk about pivoting and realizing that you're not behind. There is no real timeline that you're supposed to be following except for your own. Let's get into a little bit of a, mini life update for me. So if you're new or if you haven't seen my previous videos, I've talked about kind of my career journey and how I went from studying nursing in undergrad to kind of getting in the workforce, getting into entertainment. My career has been kind of all over the place since graduation, to be honest with you. But I think it's because in the back of my mind and in my heart, I've always known I wanted to be in entertainment. But it was just growing up and being successful in school there was definitely, I don't want to say pressure, because my family has always been supportive in what I want to do, but my family is also a very academic family. So it's like, you're going to go to this school, you're going to go to this college, you're going to have an amazing career, and you're going to make a lot of money, and you're going to be successful. And yeah, like, you're just there wasn't as much of a creative push. I was always like the academic kid. So just to give you a little bit about like my background and kind of where that comes from and why I've always been so like academic and career focused, that's a major reason why. If you want more information about like my college experience and job experience, I'll link some past videos so you can get all the details about that. But long story short, to kind of fast forward to where I'm at now, is I am pivoting again. So last year was a major pivot for me because I was working for a really, really big, like world-renowned plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills. And I decided I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I think I'm done with healthcare. I think I'm done with medicine. I don't want to go back to school. I want to go full force into entertainment. So I quit my job. I didn't really have like a solid backup plan. I was just like, I'm just gonna submit for castings. I'm gonna do everything I need to do to get my foot in the door. Well, in case you didn't know, there was a strike, work dried up, and I was like, well, there goes that plan. We're not gonna be doing that anymore because I'm not making any money. So I decided, okay, let's go back to what we know. Let's look into healthcare, and it's time to get a full-time job and go back to the corporate 9-to-5 life. So that was back in July of last year when I got that job. Well, if you missed my previous video where I talked about me getting fired, I got fired from that job. And this just happened about a month and a half ago. Very unexpected, no warning. Like, I just had no inclination that I would be let go from that job. So here we are. That was in April, the end of April. We are now in the middle of June, and I find myself pivoting again. And this time I feel like, I don't know, this time just feels different. I feel like God is literally forcing me out of my comfort zone, forcing me out of these situations. Because one, like I said, me getting fired, like I could have never planned for that in a million years. So it's like, okay, job got taken away, so now we have to pivot and figure out, okay, what are we gonna do? What career are we gonna delve into next? And then with that, I've been looking for jobs out here, and as we all know, the job market is atrocious right now. Like, it's been so tough trying to get a job, and I haven't been able to. So then of course that affects finances, bills, rent, and I live by myself. I pay for everything by myself. So not having a job, not having income, kind of can't foot the bill for all of that right now. So I'm like, okay, at this point, I feel like I'm being forced not only out of my home and my comfort zone and everything else out here, but I really feel like I'm being forced out of LA. And do I want to get into that? I don't know. If you want me to do a full video about like my experience living in LA for the past almost 10 years and like, I don't know, just my experiences and how I felt about it then, how I feel about it now, would I move to LA? I don't know. If you want a more in-depth video, comment below, let me know. I can definitely get into it. But what I will say is LA just doesn't feel the same to me as it used to. I used to really love LA and just have this like sparkle in my eye about LA, and like it was just always such a like magical place for me. And LA's always been my second home. My dad has lived out here my whole life, so I used to spend summers out here. So LA is home, and it always will be home. But I don't know, something about the energy of the city, something about the people here, it's just different. Like, I just don't even really know how to describe it. If you live in LA and you've been here for a while, you probably know what I'm talking about. Everything just feels very transactional. You don't really know who to trust when you first meet people. Like, thank God I have friends here that I've known for years and, you know, that I love and trust. But it's like, it's hard to meet new people. It's hard to network. You don't know who to trust. You don't know who actually wants to help you and who's just trying to get something from you or who's trying to screw you over. It's just, the energy is so weird and I just don't like it. I don't want to be around it anymore.
I'm tired of the rat race. I'm tired of being on the hamster wheel. I'm tired of like fighting to stay in this city when it's like, at this point, what am I even staying for? I don't have a career or a job that's holding me here. I'm not married yet. I don't have kids yet. So that's not holding me here. I'm still young. Like, why am I staying here? Why am I like, what's really here for me still? And I'm like, going through the list and I'm like, not much. Like, not much. And even like my close intermediate family, my really close friends, a lot of them aren't here. So it's not like I have this really, really large base or large community here either. So saying all that to say, next month I'm moving out of state. And we are kissing this chapter in LA goodbye. I have a lot of emotions about it. I'm sad. I'm a little angry just because of the circumstances of how all of this has been happening. But I'm also relieved. I'm excited to start a new chapter. I'm excited to see what this new state, what this new living situation is gonna be like, what new opportunities are going to come my way. I'm just trying to focus on the excitement part and not focus on the nervousness and anxiety, because I do deal with anxiety really, really bad, and I don't deal with change very well. So I'm just like, I don't know, but I'm just really trying to hone in on that feeling of excitement and newness and starting a new chapter, and really focusing on having a really fun and positive second half of this year. Now that I gave you that update and that information on my end and kind of what's going on with me, I wanted to just let you know that it is okay to pivot. Like I said, this is my second time pivoting in the course of like a year and a half, 2 years. And I've pivoted before. Like my dad says, he's like, sometimes you got to press the reset button, and sometimes you might have to do it multiple times. It's never too late to start over. It's never too late to move. It's never too late to go back to school. It's never too late to start your own business, to change career paths. It's never too late to change your mind about anything. Like I said, as someone who doesn't do very well with change, I have to keep like drilling this into my head, because along with not loving change and not liking to be out of my comfort zone, I am a very deadline and timeline oriented person. I definitely was someone who always had like a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. Like, okay, by 25, I'm going to do this. And by 30, I'm going to do this. And life just does not work that way. Not for most of us, from what I've seen. And, you know, for some people, they are able to keep that timeline and keep those deadlines. But 9 times out of 10, life is going to throw you some curveballs. Things are going to happen that are completely out of your control that can deter you from those timelines, or, you know, maybe prevent certain things from happening or cause other things to happen. And I just want you to know that don't let those curveballs deter you from your passions and your dreams. It can be hard. It can be devastating. It can be defeating. I've definitely had moments where I just was so discouraged and I was like, what am I doing? Like, what is happening with my life? Like, I just felt like everything was crumbling. Like, literally every aspect of my life felt like it was crumbling. And I'm like, what do I do? Like, what is the point of all of this? What is the lesson I'm supposed to learn? Like, what is it? Like I said, I'm still going through that right now. Like, I don't have all the answers, but what I do know is that it's okay to pivot. It's okay to change your mind. Be okay with going with the flow of life, because like I said, sometimes life doesn't always take heed to our personal timeline and what we want to do and when we think we should do it. Just try to go with the flow of life as best as you can. And also, along those same lines, just know that you can never be behind in life. Literally never. You can never be behind in life, because you as an individual, you have your own timeline. You have your own completely unique path, completely unique set of rules and regulations for your own life. So when you're looking at other people, because I know human nature, we compare sometimes. It's hard not to, especially with social media and things like that. When we start getting into that comparison thing, it can be easy to be like, oh, well, I don't have this yet, or I'm not married, or I don't have this career, I don't have this much money, I haven't traveled here yet. It's so easy to do that when we see other people doing things that we haven't done yet, or having things that we don't have yet. But my thing that I always think about too is, you don't know what they had to go through to get that. And you don't know what it looks like behind the scenes either. Really, really try hard to have that in the back of your mind, because we don't know what people are going through. We don't know what sacrifices had to be made. We don't know what health issues people have had to go through. We don't know what losses, what grief has come with that success or that material good or whatever. So just remember that your individual path, your timeline is specific to you, and you can never be behind. Because what are you behind? If it's your own timeline, how are you behind? It's not possible. And so again, that's something that I've been telling myself too, because especially being 30 now and approaching 31, which is nuts. Like, I can't believe I'm almost 31. 30 just flew by. But as I'm approaching 31 and like really getting into my 30s, I definitely thought my life would look a lot different by this age in so many different ways. But here we are. We're just dealing with the cards that life has dealt us, and it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Like, I'm telling that to myself, I'm telling that to you. Whatever you're going through, whatever transition, if you're pivoting, if you're starting something new, moving somewhere new, if you're entering a new relationship, if you're leaving a relationship, if you are just going through any new experiences, or if you're even thinking about pivoting and doing something new, I want to encourage you to do it. I want to encourage you to take that leap of faith. And I just want to let you know it's going to be okay. It's uncomfortable right now. It's very uncomfortable. There's a lot of lessons being learned. There's a lot of emotions. There's just a lot to process. But everything's going to work out, and it's all going to be part of a great story at the end. I always say, I don't know, maybe this might help you too, but when things get rough or I get thrown a curveball or whatever, in the back of my mind, in my delusional little mind, I'm like, you know what? Okay, this is going to be good for the documentary. This is one of those parts where it's like, ooh, okay, it gets a little rocky. There's a little bit of a conflict, but this is going to be really good for the documentary. So that's how I like to think of it. Anytime there's a little rough patch, I'm like, this will be good for the documentary. Yeah, so that concludes today's video, boos. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like this video if you like this video. I hope you feel encouraged. I hope you feel motivated, inspired. Again, I really was like, I don't know what to talk about. I was just feeling so like bleh today, but I actually feel better now that I sat down and got to talk. And I hope that this helped you feel better and helped improve your day a little bit too. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your support. Please remember to subscribe, and I will see you next Sunday. Cheers.